Welcome to Super Life with me, Darin, a podcast where we explore, discover, and share solutions that promote a healthier life and a better world. Together, we'll ignite possibilities, inspire change, and build sovereignty, creating a roadmap towards a super life for you and for all. Get ready to start living your super life. Hey everybody, welcome to the show. This is Darin. This is the Super Life podcast, and I'm stoked you're here. We are going to dive into something that I'm curious about, and I hope you are too. It is some of the nuances around how the brain works, how society is set up to almost trigger us to do things that we doesn't actually feel good. What do I mean by that? This is understanding and overcoming negativity bias from individual psychology to societal impact. See, here's the thing. Human beings tend to focus on negative experiences, threats, problems, rather than positive opportunities and solutions. Have you noticed that? That if you listen exclusively to your brain, the rumination that's happening in your brain is mostly negative. The threats, is my partner cheating on me? Am I going to make enough money? What's going to happen if this, if that? This is a phenomenon known as negativity bias. And this has deep evolutionary roots. And it can be very counterproductive in our modern context, which is why I'm bringing this up. This is a key to living your super life. Understanding a bit of how the brain works and how your biases, from an evolutionary standpoint, kind of run away with this loop. This examines the research behind and the tendencies behind this evidence-based idea, as well as the strategies to overcoming it. This is really, really important, because if we're not aware of this, it's happening and mostly against you. So tune in for this dive down negativity bias. Okay, so negativity bias is this pervasive aspect of our human condition. This is part of our cognition. It's influencing how we perceive, interpret, and respond to the world around us. While this bias is once served critical to survive, because if I'm out in the wild, I have to constantly, am I going to get attacked? Am I going to get eaten? Where is the water? Where is the food? Where is my shelter? How do I keep my family safe? So when you understand from a survival function, it's extremely important. But it can hinder us now in our personal growth, because it's all based in the context of how we are living now. We largely have created a modern world a lot faster than our amygdala can keep up. And so it's understanding the context of this and the orientation of our kind of this deep brain and how we can best use this and actually improve our lives as a result. So understanding the mechanisms behind this negativity bias and its impact on us as individuals and the societal levels is essential for developing strategies to mitigate its effects on us. And you already know where I'm going. Media, social media, all this stuff. But this is riddled with some powerful research. I have so much research in the show notes that if you want to dive into this, it's extremely important. There's a paper that draws on some of the foundational works Baumister, which is a research article that came out in 2001 titled "Bad is Stronger Than Good." And then another one in 2007, "The Brain That Changes Itself." And then Dan Buettner referenced a bunch of things in the Blue Zone Solution. Big shout out to Dan. And then we talk about this in some of our other solo episodes of habit forming, but James Clear's 2018 Atomic Habits gets into this too. How to integrate these insights from our psychology, neuroscience, and social sciences as we aim to have a better life. So we're going to dive into this comprehensive overview of negativity bias and these practical approaches to overcoming it. And nothing will change if nothing changes. Nothing will shift unless you actually take action. So don't let my words or this podcast go in vain. Take this in, share it with your friends, share it with your family. Because if you are finding yourself in a loop of, relationship stuff, for example, I've had relationships where some of the partners, and myself included, we all have that train in our brain that just moves forward and just thinks the worst. Don't you find that? We all have it. It's not just you, and we're not just siloed to have it. There's reasons for that. These are survival mechanisms. So from this evolutionary standpoint, early humans were more attuned to potential threats and were more likely to survive if they were attuned in this way to do what? To reproduce, to move forward. It's all about survival. This heightened sensitivity to danger meant that the negative information was prioritized to ensure immediate reactions to threats. It was a great paper that was, I have in the show notes, it was built upon this in 2008. So we have this neurological bias, this amygdala activation. That's really where this whole thing sits. The amygdala plays a central role in the brain in processing emotional reactions, particularly fear and anxiety. Negative stimuli elicit, listen to this, stronger and faster responses in the amygdala compared to positive stimuli. Let me say that again. Negative stimuli elicit stronger and faster responses in the amygdala compared to positive stimuli. Now think about it. From a survival mechanism, if something's coming at you, wanting to kill you, you got to react powerfully and quickly. Whereas something positive happened, it's not threatening your life. So the amygdala and the brain is geared towards a threat. But if it's psychological threat, if a fear and anxiety has got us ruminating on something, then that amygdala is lit up. So this results in profound emotional impact and behavioral responses to negative events. And then, of course, we get addicted to all of those things, that charge, that stress. Attention is perception. So negative information captures attention more rapidly than positive information. Think about that. Why is it? And we're going to get into it. Media, social media, built upon the pillar of this amygdala activation. So they know this. Of course they know this because they get more attention that way. Negative information captures attention more readily than positive information. So a great study in 1991 demonstrated that individuals recognize negative words more quickly than positive ones. So this is so ingrained in the amygdala that the negative words might as well be a spear coming at your head. So you recognize the threat of a negative response, which is why you can put out the most positive social post and you get one asshole who just comes up with something negative, literally having to try to make something negative. And that is the spear that we are threatened by. That word, that phrase, that comment. Okay? That incites this inherent attention bias towards negativity. I say this because we know this. So I'm putting words and science, the science-backed research that I found is supporting what we already know so that we can do something different. Also, there's memory encoding. Negative experiences are often remembered more vividly due to the role of stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline in the memory consolidation. So when you're putting memories in there, it's locked in based on the stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This leads to stronger recall of the negative events compared to the positive ones because, again, just understanding this from an evolutionary standpoint, you want to remember the things that got you almost killed, right? Or got you so in a dangerous situation where you have to remember that so you don't do it again. This is all in the context of like, we're not having a cheetah run after us anymore. We have created a different world. It's a cushy world. It's riddled with fatal conveniences. But our brains, if we don't step in and do something differently with our amygdala activation or negativity bias, then it's often running in fear and anxiety and adrenaline and cortisol. The individual psychological impact, the emotional consequences, negative emotions and mental health, all of this plays into it. Chronic exposure to negative stimuli can lead to prolonged stress, anxiety, and depression. So, great study back in 2004. And then if you continuously activate these mechanisms, you just get more and more of it. So you're getting more cortisol, more adrenaline, more stress, more anxiety, more depression. And then you think that's who I am, right? Then you identify to it. And then people are not identifying to that going, I don't want to be around that person. They're causing me stress. The continuous activation of this fight or flight response without actual physical threats strains the body and mind. How much are we just making up in our head? Grabbing words, grabbing phrases, grabbing ideas and concepts and just running with them in our brains, creating stress, anxiety, depression. Elevated cortisol levels associated with stress can impair cognitive functions such as memory, learning, problem solving. So the more you're in these states, you can't remember much. Your chances of learning anything different dramatically drop. And you're no good for problem solving because you're in fight or flight all the time. So how can we create a healthy cycle where negative emotions... So this negative emotion cycle hinders our ability to engage and even see and even find and even, dare I say, create magnetic reception for positive or even constructive thinking. It builds a wall around all of that because that's where your brain and your nervous system and your hormones are taking you. It's all happening in your brain. If you are literally not physically threatened, then this is mostly made up. Behavioral outcomes, risk aversion, negative biases can lead individuals to focus on avoiding losses rather than pursuing gains. So, this risk-averse behavior may prevent individuals from seizing opportunities. Listen, that could lead to personal growth and success. So you're so focused on the negative that I'm running around and I'm avoiding all of the negative rather than the flip of just pursuing greatness, gains, and opportunity. And this was a great study back in 1979. The risk-averse behavior may prevent individuals from even seeing and seizing opportunities that could lead to a better life. Wow, right? Relationship strain. In personal relationships, the impact of negative interactions often outweighs that of positive ones. The Godman ratio suggests that stable relationships have a ratio of 5 positive interactions to every 1 negative interaction. It was a study by Godman and Levson in 1992. A single negative event can significantly harm relationship satisfaction. So if you're having mostly negative interactions, that is a stress soup that is not going to be beneficial for you. So you and your partner have to break this cycle. You should have 5-to-1 at least. 5 positive interactions. And you have to work at it. Step outside of the rumination of fear and anxiety, and then you have to give compliments and be kind. Bring happiness, don't look for happiness. Bring joy, don't look for joy. Bring love, don't look for love. Be those things. And that will break so many of these horrible habits. Societal impact of negative biases, media, information consumption, news media, all of this stuff. Media outlets often emphasize negative news. Did I have to say that? No, I didn't. You already know that. Because it attracts more attention. Just understand that. If you're physically tuning into news, knowing, now you know. Maybe you pretended not to know, but now you know. Because I'm telling you, and it shows up in the research. 1996 research back in Shoemaker. Phenomenon encapsulated in a phrase, if it bleeds, it leads. This can distort public perception, leading to increased fear, anxiety about societal issues. Another study in 1976. They've known this for a very long time. So news and media surrounded itself just from a business model. Just common sense. I'm not getting conspiratorial. This is just a business model. This is amygdala activation. More negative over positivity increases engagement. And then you get a bunch of us who are addicted to it. I'm not one of them, although I have to stop myself on social media because that crap pulls me in too. Oh my God, this happened. Oh my God, that happened. It just keeps going and going and going. And the algorithm sucks us in. But the traditional media, out of my life. There's no chance I'm tuning into any of that crap. Because it's built on it. Social media. The algorithms on social media, we know now without a doubt, 2015 study, 2001 study. Platforms prioritize content that elicits strong emotional responses, often amplifying negative or sensational information. Sensational, political, all of this stuff, everything's sensationalized, not grounded, not common sense. This can create an echo chamber that reinforces negative beliefs and patterns in your own head, contributing to more polarization in your own head. And then you just keep looking for it, and then you get more and more into a silo. Stop arguing. Stop looking for this stuff. Of course, a lot of people do bad things. Okay? Of course. And they do a lot of good things too. I don't need to watch any more news or social media to tell me what I'm committed to. I'm committed to a super life, and I'm committed to you having a super life. Mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, environmentally, power, water, food, shelter, inspirational information, sovereignty that gives you the ability to make other choices. That is what I'm committed to. In my books, Super Life, Fatal Conveniences, Down to Earth, this podcast, the next TV show I'm doing, the Super Life platform that I'm currently building, it's all based in providing a platform and an opportunity to do something that will enhance your life, our lives, society's lives. That's just what I care about. So I'm creating my life against this negativity bias. The world is coming to an end. The planet's going to blow up. Planet's fine. We're going to blow up. Like, we are hurting ourselves. Of course, there's governments at fault. Of course, there's corporations at fault. But largely, so much can be changed by us. And just our perception. If you just understand the amygdala, the algorithms on social prioritize all this stuff. And there's things you can do about it. Negativity bias can exacerbate divisions in society, politicians, and all of this stuff. Polarization, polarization, polarization. Overcoming negativity bias. Evidence-based strategies. Individual level interventions. Cultivating positive emotions. Broadening and building theory. Study in 2001. Fredrickson. Broaden and build theory postulates that positive emotions expand cognitive and behavioral repertoires, enabling individuals to build lasting resources, engaging in activities that foster joy, gratitude, and contentment can counterbalance negativity bias. You can do all of these things every day. Fostering joy, gratitude, contentment can counterbalance all this amygdala stuff. Train your brain. Gratitude practices. This is all in the science. This is all in the data. Regular gratitude practices have been shown to enhance well-being, improve sleep, increase relationship satisfaction. Your gratitude for everything you can think of increases relationship satisfaction. By focusing on positive aspects of your life, everyone can focus on positive aspects of your life. You can shift attention away from negative stimuli. Mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness practices. Mindfulness could be eating shutting everything off, mindful of the amazing strawberry that you just ate and the taste, the textures, the flavors, the smell. That's mindfulness. What a concept. This can help. Just doing these little practices make you more aware of your thoughts, your patterns, and then it interrupts this negative thinking cycle. Meditation itself can be associated with reducing stress and of course improve emotional regulation. There's a lot of things you can do. Cognitive behavioral therapy. These are strategies that can help individuals identify and challenge negative thought patterns, replacing them with more balanced perspective. Techniques such as reframing, the cognitive restructuring. You can reframe things. You can step in and change behaviors. Behavioral strategies, habit formations, building positive habits can rewire neural pathways due to what's called neuroplasticity. Just because you're thinking about the negative all the time and feel like it's a freight train running, all of us have neuroplasticity. Repetition and the other way, in constructive behavioral ways, strengthens your new neuro connections, making positive responses more autonomic over time. Amazing study in 2007. You have to stop. Journaling is great. Journaling is a great self-reflective aspect, mirroring back yourself. Journaling at night. How was your day? Reflecting on the good. What good happened? Or if you're just thinking about all the negative, ruminating all of, oh, what if this and what if that and da-da-da-da-da. That's a miserable pathway to continue to make a highway in your brain for. Change the wiring, change the highway system in your brain. You can do it. Modifying one's environment to reduce exposure to negative stimuli is very powerful. Increase positive cues can influence behavior. Set your environment up to inspire you, not pull you down. Things around you. A trinket from a trip that lifted you up. Pictures that bring out spirit, that gives you hope and inspiration. Sounds, music, so much in your living space. Addressing negativity bias in relationships, enhancing positive interactions, expressing appreciation, regularly showing gratitude and appreciation in relationships is so powerful at strengthening bonds. Go against, the time when you're annoyed at your partner, and if you swim upstream to that desire to want to be passive aggressive or whatever crap you're doing, swim upstream and give that person praise. I love how you make my meal. I'm so grateful that I got to come home to you and see your face. I'm so inspired by your desire to work hard. Whatever it is, just by finding ways to give your partner positivity and upliftment is changing your brain. Because over time, you will always try to find the negative in them. You know this. Effective communication is so clear. Using active listening. If you just listen to someone without saying anything, just listen actively. Look them in the eye. Nothing, no distractions. Listen. Empathetically listen. Listen. Reduces misunderstandings and fosters huge trust. Provide feedback in a non-confrontational way. And maybe you have to take a break if something escalated, right? These are just powerful things, small gestures to ease tension during conflict. Educating yourself about media practices. This is important. Setting boundaries around social media. Limit your time. I got to get back to this too. At one point, there was 2 times in the day I'd check social. In the morning and at night. And I just shift my brain to this is for work, and that's it. Twice a day. I'm going to make a commitment right now. I'm going to go back to it. Twice a day, that's it. I'm going to break that cycle of that dopamine freaking hit. How about you? You want to join me on that one? Twice a day, that's it. Morning, evening, boom. And set a timer. That's the only time you can do it. And you can also do this, positive content curation. You can actually train the algorithm on social, following accounts that promote positivity, well-being, and let go of the ones that do not do that. You can train the algorithm. Digital detox, regular breaks, just letting go of the device. Don't need to take the device on a walk. Don't need to take it outside. Let it go. You can change all these things. There's amazing studies. Abstinence from it is so powerful. And as curators of content, curate positive, powerful content. And knowing you're always going to have that troll. You're always going to have that idiot. And just let it fly over you, and don't let it activate your amygdala. Follow, create. Let's all create positive, powerful platforms to solve our societals and the world's issues. Let's go against this thing. Governments and organizations, they need to implement policies that reduce the spread of negative information, for sure. Let's push back on them, because this promotes mental health issues, without a doubt. So regulation of social media algorithms. I'm full support of the First Amendment. We need to protect that. But we do not have to have underneath it the algorithms forcing things in different directions. That's negativity bias within an algorithm. I believe in you. I believe in the human spirit. By understanding these mechanisms behind negativity bias as individuals and society, we can adopt these real, powerful, and evidence-based strategies to mitigate this from your life, to change things, cultivate positive emotions, practicing this mindfulness, improving communication, promoting positive media that affects all of us, overcoming this negativity bias and fostering a more optimistic and collaborative world, a super life. Let's do this. This is deep. This is deep in our brains, deep in our DNA from the beginning of time. But our modern world is different. We're not being run down. There's a lot of gnarly things going on in the world, but most of us do not have things we're running from on a day-to-day basis. So all of us who don't have those things, let's cultivate a positive world, and therefore we'll have more creativity, we'll have more ability to reason, and we'll be positive force moving forward in our lives and in the life itself of all people, humans, animals, and this beautiful planet. Okay. Cultivate your best life ever. Cultivate your super life. And remember, I love you.